Well, Farina was founded as a town back in 1878 and is first known as Gumnut Gums, and it's changed a couple of years later to Farina. Farina in Latin means flour, but they try to grow wheat here, but I don't think there's a bag of wheat ever been stitched up here to be sold. So, and ever since then it's been, had a population of about 300 people. Then it gradually started dying, probably in the turn of the century. Then around about 1965, around that time, that's when the post office and the store closed down. And so since then, it's been virtually no one here.
When did you take over this station?
Well, back in 1982, I came here as a manager and managed the place till 91. Then Anne and I bought the place in 91 and been running it ever since with our 3 kids. And Anne was here before I was. She was a school teacher in Lee Creek, and she used to drive the school bus from here to Lee Creek, and she boarded here for 12 months before I come along.
What's been happening here around the Farina township? It's not really much of a town now because it's all a bit of a rubble at the moment, but what's been going on here?
Back in 1997, there's a group of friends from Yorktown, and our brother-in-law and sister-in-law came up and they said they wanted to do some restoration work, so we did a little bit on the school building and the underground bakery. But since then, we did a little bit with the Outback Community Development Trust. They funded with Greg Emmett from Coward Springs. He came down, we did a bit of work on the post office, and also Peter Russell, which we did some work on the Transcontinental. But 12 months ago, I met this bloke from Victoria. His name's Tom Harding. And he just fell in love with this place, and he's putting a lot of money up towards this restoration work. And the last fortnight, he's brought over about 20 to 30 volunteers, like they've been coming and going. And they're all retirees, all in age from 60 to 70 odd. And one bloke was an ex-dentist and all that, and there's ex-carpenters and there's builders and and just general people, and they just love working here, and they plan on coming back again next year, and they even talk about getting a bakery up and running, so that'd be interesting.
It is an underground bakery, you were saying. How would that work?
It's underground. You go downstairs underground, the roof's above ground, but it's got a great big oven underground, and that's where they used to bake the bread back in the 1880s, and so they're talking about some old bakery association in Melbourne, and that they want to get it up and running. So the ovens are still there, so there's not much work to be done to get it going again.
The other structures that are around here, what else was in the town?
Well, the town had 2 hotels, Exchange and the Transcontinental Hotel. There was a police station, and also a school building. There's a brewery, 2 stores, a couple of churches. So, like I said, the population in its heyday is around about 300 people, but there's a lot of Afghans used to live here. And a lot of people might forget that this is where it originated. The Unadada track and the Strzelecki started from here, like all the Cameliers used to go off from here and up the Virgil track, and all the stock used to come down to Farina to be railed out. And then when Farina started dying back around the turn of the century, Murray went ahead because they had the water. Farina didn't have the water. See, like that's the biggest problem here. There's no artesian down this end, and Murray had the artesian, and then so the stock routes changed a bit. Yeah, so it's been, like I said before, it just died.
Was that the main reason? Was the water?
It is, yeah. That's all we can work it out through the history, because for stock water and that, well, the underground waters here is very salty, so you've got to rely on dam waters, and we have a lot of dry years up here, not much water. So where Murray's got the artesian, so there's plenty of stock water there, and I think that's why a lot of townspeople, like the hard times when the dams are dry, they had to cart water up by rail. So a lot of people just moved on. Found it better, easy living up Murray or going back south to Port Augusta or Cornwall, whatever.
How do you restore these old buildings?
What we did with Greg Emmett and Peter Russell, they had a stonemasons, so they grabbed some of these volunteers and they helped them, put the stones back into place, and just to stop the walls from falling down, only sort of preserving it, not actually rebuilding. And the rest of the volunteers, we put street signs up and named some of the places where people used to live, and also we fenced off some areas where, so you know which is a block of land and which is the main road sort of thing.
Have you had people, like tourists, coming through and having a look?
Oh, definitely, yeah. We get a lot of tourists through every day of the week. It's nothing like seeing 30, 40 cars driving through here, having a bit of a look, and and just walking around, sort of reminiscing about the old days.
With the restoration project, what else is there to do now?
Well, next year, like I said, the underground bakery, they want to try and get that going, so there's a little bit of work to be done on that. I think the oven door's missing, so someone's got to try and come up with an oven door. And the Anglican church here, Tom Harding, it's just a pile of rubble. He's plan of trying to rebuild it, somewhere that could use it as a meeting place. And also he wants to build a big stone entrance as you come into town and have one side written Farina, the other side Government Gums. It's made out of natural rock around here, which would be entrance, and I reckon that'd be great.
Some of the other buildings, there was an old hospital here as well, but there was a cordial factory. Was cordial popular back then?
Well, it must have been, but apparently it was a cordial factory and a brewery. We're trying to find the block of land where it's off so we can mark it, so anyone's interested in reopening it one day, who knows, but it might have been just a lemonade, like that seemed to be the common cordial back in those days. And same as the hospital, we've been trying to find out where the hospital block of land is, because in later years the Transcontinental Hotel was turned to a hospital, but before that, probably about 1920s, that's when the hospital was moved over to Farina Station. They just used it as an outstation there at the homestead.
You might need to reopen the cordial factory for drinks when people go to the bakery.
Well, that's right, yeah. Well, like Blimmin once a year has a cook fest with our camp ovens. Well, we might even do a bake fest up here and sell a few jars of lemonade as well.
What do you love about Farina?
Oh, I love its history, and I just like the lifestyle of living here. Where Anne and I and our family, we lived here for the last 27 years, and we really enjoyed it here. We love our community. The people from Lyndhurst, Maree, and the station people. We all get on well, and it's always if someone's in trouble, we give a lending hand, or vice versa. Like everyone's. It's nothing like travelling up 300 or 400 k's just go to a party. Like that's how we live up in this country. And the other thing is too, you can leave your keys in your vehicle. You can trust everyone. Like it's the best thing about this country. You can trust it for anyone that comes through.